how can one move beyond intellectual understanding to a direct experiential realization? Since non-dual awareness is not an object that can be grasped conceptually, according to you, what are the most effective ways to shift from thinking about it to directly knowing it?
Well, you could ask yourself a question such as, what element of my experience cannot be removed from me? Let's do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts are continually appearing to you and vanishing. They're, even as we've been talking, we both had numerous thoughts. If any particular thought was essential to us, then every time a thought disappeared, we'd feel, oh, a little bit of me has disappeared. But we don't feel that. We feel that the whole of me remains behind. The thoughts are just coming and going all the time. The thoughts obviously cannot be myself, because whatever myself is, I'm always myself.
Yeah.
And we're ourself in the waking state, we're ourself in the dream state, we're ourself in deep sleep. We've been ourself all our life. So whatever ourself is must be that we always are. Yeah. That doesn't come and go. That cannot be taken away. You know you're not your sweater.
No.
Because you take your sweater off.
Exactly. Just like thoughts, they do come and go.
They come and go. Your thoughts are like your sweater. Your feelings are like your shoes. You're not always sad, but you are always yourself. You're not always lonely, but you are always yourself. So in this way, and we do this experientially. It's not, we're formulating now, but you can actually go into yourself and ask, okay, my thoughts are coming and going. I'm obviously not my thoughts. My feelings are coming and going. I'm obviously not my feelings. The sensations of my feet on the floor or the temperature of the air on my skin, these sensations are not always present. No sensation is always present. So I cannot be a sensation. No perception is present. So when you remove all of these, it's like asking, what is the nature of the space in this room? We might think to begin with that the space in this room is square and high and light and full of objects and old and pale yellow. But none of those are qualities that are essential to the space. How are we going to find out what is essential to the space? Well, let's take out everything that's not essential. Let's take out the chairs and the tables and the mics and the lights and the curtains and the carpets. And let's take down the walls, because the walls are not. What remains? Only that. Can you take the space away from this? No. So you go on. You take away experientially, not just thinking about you.
Yeah.
You take away your thoughts. It's like undressing. You take off everything that can be taken off. You remove you don't have to actually get rid of any experience. You just have to perform the experiment, not to think about the experiment, but to do the experiment. If I take off my thoughts, take off my feelings, take off my perceptions, take off my activities, take off my relationships, what's left?
That space.
Just naked being.
Naked being.
Naked being. And that's, obviously we're describing it in rational terms, but I hope, well, I can see you were following. I hope your listeners were either following along with us or in their own time. You can do this experiment for yourself, and it's practical, it's experiential, and it doesn't take 30 years. It takes 3 minutes. You can go directly, and this is why this approach is sometimes called the direct approach, because we just go directly King Lear, sorry, I'm completely mixing my metaphors.
No worries.
King Lear doesn't start practicing different practices. He could do that, and it's perfectly legitimate to do that. I don't mean to imply that it's not legitimate to do other practices, but the quickest, the easiest, the fastest way is for King Lear just to go all the way straight back to John Smith. I'm obviously not my relationship with my daughters. I'm obviously not the King of England. I'm obviously not my thought. Go back and back and back. Oh, I am John Smith. Now, that recognition, I am pure being, pure aware being. That's what's referred to in the tradition as a glimpse of one's true nature, the recognition of one's true nature, an awakening experience, because we recognize what we are essentially. Now, in almost all cases, not all cases, there are exceptions, but the exceptions are few and far between. In almost all cases, this recognition, this glimpse, is not sufficient to put an end to the old habit of identifying oneself with the content of experience. There is this momentary glimpse. In fact, the glimpse of our true nature is timeless, because it doesn't take place in the mind, it takes place. So it's actually timeless. But this, let's call it, as a concession to time, let's call it a momentary glimpse of our true nature, is in most cases eclipsed again by the content of our experience. We feel the pull of experience, and we lose ourselves in our thoughts and feelings again. So then we have to do the experiment again, and not mechanically. You don't just mechanically ask yourself the same question, who am I, or what is it that cannot be removed from me? You might formulate the question in a new way. What is it that is always with me? You have to go there out of interest and love, not out of mechanical repetition. So you lose yourself in the content of experience again, and as a result, you start suffering. And you know now, if you want relief from your suffering, you know where to go. So you begin to trace your way back to your true nature. And again, you have you walk yourself. You take yourself by the hand. You walk yourself home again. You go back to your true nature. You taste, or you glimpse. You recognize your true nature. But again, because you've been lost in your experience for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, this habit is so strong, so you get pulled down. So to begin with, there's this back and forth. We have to row against the tide. You have to row upstream to go back to your true nature. Against the flow of the river is always taking you back out. The river is carrying you back out. So you have to. It feels like going against the tide to begin with. But after a while, every time you go back to your true nature and rest there, even briefly, you weaken the power that objective experience has over you. You weaken the pull of objective experience, little by little by little. So next time it's a little bit easier. The tide is not flowing so strongly against you, and you come back to your true nature, and you abide there for longer. And you notice after a while that fewer and fewer events in the world have the power to take you away from yourself. And this is referred to sometimes in the tradition as being established in your true nature. So there's one thing is to have a glimpse of your true nature, a taste, a recognition. For most people, there are a series of glimpses, series of recognitions. With each recognition, the power that objective experience has over us, the ability of objective experience to take us away from ourselves weakens, and then we begin to notice that our true self, being or being aware, is not just a place in ourself that we visit from time to time.
No.
Not like a holiday cottage that you go to at the weekend and then come back to the city to work. You move in. You begin to live there as that. It becomes to begin with, it was an extraordinary experience. Extraordinary because previously you were completely immersed or lost in the content of your experience, and now you have this taste of your being and its innate peace and quiet joy and freedom. It's an extraordinary experience. But now the experience begins to become normal. It's where you live. It's who you are. You begin to you move into your cottage. You move out of your apartment in the city. You move into your cottage. You start to work from home. You don't leave anymore. You stay there.
Stay there.
And if occasionally something that happens in the world that takes you away from your being, it doesn't last for long. You don't get lost in your feelings for 3 weeks. It's 3 minutes maximum. And there are fewer and fewer of such experiences that retain the power to take you away. You begin to feel that I'm home, I'm at peace, and this peace is not dependent on what does or does not take place in the world or in your body. It's the peace that passes understanding. It's the peace that is not derived from the content of experience. It is the peace that is the nature of your being.